Good morning. Namaste. So today is a silent day. And I hope you started to notice already that there's a little bit of a shift when we are silent. We're being encouraged to look within, turn our gaze within. There's less stimulus, less noise. I wrote this book called Open Your Eyes Within, and the main point, and you can look at it on Amazon.com if you like, it's in a Kindle version, so you might want to look at it. It has a lot about the practice, and it basically says that the solution is in the silence. The solution to all the things we've talked about so far and what we zeroed in on as far as particular challenges and things that we have, that we feel as worry and stress and obstacles, those things are resolved in a gradual process by turning our attention within, opening our eyes to that which is deeper in us. Now that takes a certain concentration, doesn't it? So we can distinguish between silence and unnecessary distracting noise. And a lot of that distracting noise comes from our brain, doesn't it? Our thinking, our attachment to thoughts, which again then become emotional upheaval and imbalance and so on. So by going within, looking in there, as we are doing here, and in the practice generally, we are trying to really become immersed, meaning, really connected with that deepest part of us, where there is silence, where there is that infinite space that Tibetan Buddhism talks about. And in that silence, there is a very subtle energy vibration. As we go in and we feel our psychic system, our subtle body, and the core energy there flowing in the chakras, between the chakras, and ultimately up the back. As we feel that, we can feel the purity of Shiva Shakti. We can feel the purity of that silence, which doesn't have any distracting noise in it, but which has the purity of that subtlest of subtle energy movement within it. We can feel when we are opening, purifying, and feeling the effects of that silence. In other words, that spontaneous, penetrating energy vibration that is basically love and compassion. It vibrates in that silence, unaffected by any distractions. But in order for that to happen, we have to learn to keep our attention on that. And you've noticed it's not so easy to keep our attention on the silence and the subtle energy, is it? It's not so easy. But we can learn it over time, and over time we learn that, we learn to distinguish, to discern between what is just distracting noise and what is pure, spontaneous energy unfolding and becoming our life. I mean, this is just words that I'm using, but you can reflect on that yourself. What is it about my life that is distracting noise, distracting to me and distracting to other people? And what is it about my life that is connected with that pure silence, consciousness, and the subtle energy vibrating in that? And it's better to err on the side of less talk than too much talk. But talking, of course, is fine. There are many situations we need to talk, and there's an element of entertainment which there's nothing wrong with. But we have to discern the difference. We know when we are just making noise and when we are just saying something that really matters. Two different things. It's like having a babble conversation with somebody, and then the difference be if you are really from your heart looking at the person and saying, you know, I really love you. I mean, those are two very different things, aren't they? One statement, one said thing comes from deep within us and has the vibration of sincere connection with our deeper silence. The other comes from just entertainment. It's fine, you're babbling along. But when you're doing that, gradually become aware that you are, while you are doing that, you can still be connected with a deeper silence. While you're having fun, you can be connected with that deeper silence. While you're shopping, you can be connected with that deeper silence. While you're having a fight with somebody, you can be connected with that deeper silence. While you're feeling sad about something that you don't like, you can be connected with that deeper silence. This is something you train yourself to do because you want to do it and because it serves you better and it serves everybody around you better. There's just way too much noise in the world. We don't have to contribute to it. We can contribute our conscious awareness of that silence and speak from it, act from it. You know, the energy that is vibrating in the silence, the most subtle energy, is called spanda. Spanda is, you can think of it as when an artist is ready to make an artwork. Before, if he's a painter, she's a painter, there's the act of, there's the impulse inside to make something. And often, an artist might have the whole visualization already inside, or it emerges in the process of doing it. But that is that initial impulse to create is what is spanda. And you might be able to feel it in yourself. As you get silent, as you get focused deeply within, and as you are not distracted by all this noise of your own identity and your own surroundings, and you're not distracted by that, and you really go inside, you use the breath, you use the wish, and you feel and you relax and surrender into that silence, you might be able to feel the infinite possibilities there. You're suddenly not locked in anymore to the distractions and your identity and so forth, you know. Anything becomes possible. And if you can have a little bit of a taste of that here, this is really wonderful, because then you come back to your regular life with a whole new way of relating to it. You relate from that silence and from the awareness of that most subtle energy spark, the potential of Shiva to manifest anything, the potential of the silence at our core to really unfold and become something fresh and spontaneous and wonderful. Don't you feel that a little bit when you do get, say, an open eyes class or in some other experience that you have, when you feel more connected with the silence in yourself? It can happen sometimes when you get totally exhausted from your own noise and sharing noise with somebody else, with a person you are having a conflict with, and you get into the noise of that conflict and you start talking about it and you start fighting about it, and I want to be right and you want to be right, and then you have just noise. Nobody hears what the other person is saying. Has anybody ever had that experience? It's not so unusual. I certainly have had that experience. When it happens, we have the luxury and possibility of stepping back. Oh, I can go into my deeper self. I can go into the silence. I can feel the deep, very subtle vibration of fresh, new energy and life within me. And this, to me, is the most important thing any human being can do, is to let go of the noise and uncover or recognize the silence and its joy and power, because there's bliss in it. There's a wonderful freedom in that silence. So everything we do, as far as focusing on the breath, relaxing, feeling the body as a starting point, but going into the subtler aspect of ourselves, all of that is for the purpose of reaching that silence and reaching that most subtle vibration of possibility, which is love. It's nothing else. When you speak from your heart or from your deeper awareness, you're speaking from love, even if you have to kick somebody's butt. Sometimes that's necessary too. But if we do that, we should do it with love and clarity, and not with anger and malice, vindictiveness or viciousness.